A few videos ago, I went and visited Metsa Machines in Merrill, Wisconsin to check out the offerings they have from Japa. Now, if you didn't know, Metsa Machines is the North America importer of Japa firewood processors, and then they have a dealer network around the United States that sells and works on the Japa wood processors that are scattered about the United States. So Metsa Machines is only about an hour from my house, and I figured it was a good opportunity to go and see the Japa firewood processor for the first time. Never saw one in person before. I really never operated a firewood processor of any kind. My only experience with firewood processors or I guess my only experience for making firewood is really the store box or big box store or the smaller mobile firewood splitters that you can get at most home stores or anywhere local for the most part. So I was able to go and visit Metsa Machines in Merrill, and shortly after the visit with Ryan, I was provided the opportunity to actually have them bring me a Japa 365 to use in the wood yard here. I have a ton of firewood I need to get caught up on, and it was I guess a welcome opportunity because I need to get caught up on firewood production. I've been buying and flipping firewood, which I don't want to do. It's not the greatest margins for firewood production, firewood sales. So being able to produce it on my own is going to be huge. I need to get caught up on my personal firewood stash. I've only got 13, 14 fixed cord left at the moment, and we got to get caught up, man. So I was very welcome to be able to get the Japa 365 in the wood yard. But the downside is that camera footage was lost. Now, in the lifetime of most content creators, there's probably going to be problems with technology. And I lost the footage the day that Ryan from Metsa Machines delivered the Japa 365 to my wood yard. I've got multiple cameras. I've got the Canon EOS R10 right here, and I've got the DJI Action 4 over here. I also have a GoPro 12, black GoPro 8, and I've got multiple SD cards. And unfortunately, somewhere in that transition of the video footage from the camera to the computer, my SD card got damaged. I am not sure how, no idea, but I went to go and pull the camera footage off of the SD card, micro SD card. Computer would not read it. I had tried multiple different types of SD card readers. I tried plugging it back in the camera would not read it. And here I come to find the SD card had a little bend to it. Tried to straighten it back out, and the card snapped in half. So I lost all the footage from the day that the Japa 365 was delivered, but I've got it here in the yard, so I'm going to show you now kind of everything I know about the Japa 365, and then we'll put it to use. I need to make some firewood today, and I want to show you exactly how cool this firewood processor is, because it is really great. So this firewood processor, the Japa 365, is going to be huge for my wood yard. I've got a load of firewood that was recently delivered, and it's gonna prove to be hugely beneficial in producing fast firewood for sale. If you look closely at this Japa 365, this is the Japa 365 Plus Basic, most likely known now in the future as just Japa 365. This is and then there's the Japa 365 Pro, which has got a bunch more hydraulics and other beneficial add-ons that make it a little more easier to operate. But honestly, this is completely usable for anybody in a firewood operation that are using logs that are 6 to 10 to 12 inches in diameter. The max diameter for this processor is 14 inches. I don't recommend going 14 inches, especially if there's some irregularities to the logs. They could be problematic if you you can get them wedged in the wedge. Now I've got the Kioti DK5320SE, and it was a little bit sketchy unloading the processor from Ryan's trailer. I pulled it off with the forks, and I was right at the max of the lifting capacity of this Kioti. Now I can lift it, but it is a little questionable. You got to make sure you have it as far back on the forks as possible to get it lifted, and it is possible to lift it, which is nice because I like to move stuff around, and be able to lift it up with forks is really nice. I did also pick it up with 3-point hitch. It doesn't really work with the quick attach hitch that I have. The widths are not perfect, so I had to pull the quick attach off, and the DK picked it up just fine. I do not think, I can probably guarantee that a CK series tractor would not be able to pick this unit up at all. So highly recommend a DK size tractor or bigger, maybe like the NS. This is right on the limit of the capacity of the DK with the cab. I've got the rear tires loaded, and I also have my carryall on the back currently, and we're right at the max. Japa's literature shows that this 365 weighs right around 1,900 pounds, 1,900 pounds. So with that out there that far, I mean, it's pretty impressive for a compact tractor to be able to pick it up. I'm really happy with that. The Japa firewood processors are made in Finland, and then they're imported by Metz Machines into the US. I think believe they're the only US importer of the Japa firewood processors. So per the Japa website, it weighs 1,900 pounds. It's just under 8 feet wide, 7 feet 10 inches wide in transport mode like this. It's not all the way up on the right hand side. I didn't drop the log lifts all the way down when I disconnected it, but it can be pulled up a little bit higher. So I believe I'd like to try, and maybe that'll be a future video, transporting this thing on the 3-point hitch, load it on my trailer, and take it to another location. So we'll see how that goes. So let's get this baby hooked up. I got to disconnect my hitch on the back side, and then we'll get it folded out and get it operational. I do need to get some IBC totes over here too. All right, let's get we'll take the log lift down. I do have the 4-way wedge. So Ryan brought me the 4-way wedge, and there's actually a 6-way wedge in the unit right now. So to get the log lift down, typically you'd have this bar hooked up here, but I couldn't get it all the way closed. But I just moved it up with the cable for transport. Hydraulic lines are already hooked up. This hydraulic line runs the in-feed roller, which I need to pull off as I set it down, and it's upside down at the moment. Pull the in-feed roller off. Set it down on the ground, release tension. It's good to have a little bit of tension because then the log lift then slides out, like so. It's all the way out now, like that. And I think I got it in the right spot. So this is the infeed roller. It's hydraulically driven and it loads, pushes the log on the conveyor belt that comes out. All it is just a pin, holds it in place, and then you tighten it down. I'm gonna lower this more, some more slack. Now we can lower the conveyor. There's a little pin that holds it in. That pin right here locks it into place. We'll set it down. And this guy kind of slides down and it hooks down here. So this leg comes off the conveyor, goes down and hooks down there and holds it in place, which is nice. And this can stay here. It's not on the way anymore. Hydraulics are hooked up already. So one hydraulic that has to be hooked up if you transport it is this one. It's a quick attach, quick connections there. These connections, PTO needs to be off for those to be hooked up. Cannot hook them up, turn them on. All right, so that's that side. This plate attaches here if you want it to. This is a bypass if you don't have that hooked up. Put that down here. Now let's do the outfeed conveyor. All right. I'm gonna blood it all the way down to the ground. Really crank it up. Pretty simple to hook up, as long as you got PTO shaft, just like every other PTO shaft. Took me about 5 seconds to hook it up. So as long as you have a long one like this, you don't have to be directly connected to it. You can just have the PTO hooked up, have the parking brake on, and we're ready to run. So let's get the tractor running. We'll get it running, let the oil warm up a little bit in this unit, and then we can get the saw. I'm gonna go get the chainsaw and we'll be ready to go. Last thing I need to hook up, the oil cooler. Meta Machines has an adapter that I can plug in the cigarette lighter in the cab of the tractor. It's just a 12 volt, so we'll plug that in. which allows the oil cooler to spin. There's a fan. One of the biggest concerns I had with going to a PTO unit is you put hours on your tractor. And I don't know how big of a deal that is. Ryan made a really good point, is there's really no maintenance to these. There's some grease spots. There's, you gotta check hydraulic fluid. But the wearables are minimal on this compared to if you were to get a powered unit with a gas engine, diesel engine, whatever. There's more things that can go wrong with that additional motor on the unit. Whereas you're always really doing well at maintenance on the tractor, or you should be. And the tractors are made to run the PTO. They're made to run. The diesel engines are well made, and the hours really don't matter as much on a large 3-cylinder diesel engine compared to a small single-cylinder gas engine. Number two, the power. This is a 50 horsepower motor. The power on this guy is way more than you'd get on a separate powered unit. So I think I'm going to really view that I like having the PTO powered option for the Japa 365. still gotta figure that out. We got through about basket and 3/4. Some of these chunks are too big for us even. I'll have to maybe run, when I'm stacking, have the wood splitter over and just run them through the splitter one more time. But this is perfect. I just had the 4-way wedge in, and some of that one, it probably could use a 6-way wedge. But we get to learn how to sharpen the chain because it hit something perfectly. This log, well, I should have noticed that. I didn't see that, of course, because I'm working the dark end. But somebody bolted something to this piece of oak, and the chain happened to land right on that. Well, this Japa experiment is definitely going to be a learning experience that I'm excited for. I'm excited to be able to show what this thing can do to you guys, and hopefully in the future maybe take it on the road. My brother-in-law has a bunch of wood needs to be cut. Got an uncle who needs some wood to be cut, and if I can get this on the 3-point, it's just under 8 feet wide. It'll fit on the trailer, back it on the trailer, and that'd be pretty cool to be able to take it places. So the maintenance of changing the bar or changing the chain, sharpening is not that bad. I recommend having a couple on hand. But for a guy that's never used one of these before, really easy to use. The log lift is kind of finicky. Still figuring that out and figuring out, I've got it all the way out maxed as far as it'll go, but maybe I should bring it in. Once I get into my load of logs, it'll be nice to have a nice consistent diameter and length, and I can fine tune the depth because the log lift can be in and out. And if I need to put it out a little bit further or bring it in some, I can fine tune that. I really thank you for being here, and I'll look forward to showing you more on this Japa 365 and the Kioti DK5320SE because they're both new. I've only had them less than a month for both the pieces of equipment, and I've got a lot of hours put on both pieces of equipment. I've got a whole load of hard maple, red maple, ash, birch, yellow birch behind me, and I want to get through it this winter. So most of it's going to get put through the Japa. Some of the bigger stuff I might not, but we'll see. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. I look forward to showing you everything else I can with this Japa in the future. Have a great one. Be safe. Bye-bye.